How to play. Here's a short video to show you how to get started playing Awful Fantasy the card game. Part 1. Game Setup. First thing you want to do is choose your author. Our author for this example is George R.U. Farton. Every author in Awful Fantasy the card game has a special ability that changes things up and makes the game a little more interesting. After the authors have been selected, each player draws 3 awful cards. These cards allow you to draw fantasy cards or screw with your opponents. Part 2. The turn sequence. Play 1 awful card. In this case, we've got coffee. Draw 1 fantasy card. Obey the awful card. Drawing 1 fantasy card gives us Grook, an antagonist. Now all we need is a protagonist and a plot, and we win. And to finish up our turn, we'll draw 1 awful card. Now let's see how your worthy opponent does on their turn. The first thing they'll do is play an awful card. It looks like your opponent plays Character Assassination. Choose 1 other player. That player must discard a protagonist fantasy card if able. Now we obey the awful card. Fortunately for us, Grook is an antagonist, so our opponent's attempt to screw us over has failed. Remember to show tact and grace when your opponent fails at screwing you over.
You idiot! Did you think that was gonna work? You freaking moron!
Now your opponent finishes their turn by drawing an awful card. You now have a basic understanding of how to get started with Awful Fantasy the card game. Be sure to check out the pledges and let's get playing.